Do you know what to do if I die?
You want to be buried in your hometown?
Well, I have picked out my casket, right? 17-year-olds die too.
Death shouldn't be like a sad ending.
Gotcha.
I feel like you should celebrate death because, there's no more suffering. A celebration of that you lived your life, not a celebration that you're dead now.
Right. Welcome everybody. This is the Edward J's Mortie Morty Show, where I am your host, a licensed funeral director, Treyvon Veal. On the Edward J Mortie Morty Show, we will be giving advice, seeking advice, discussing several topics on life, death, and everything in between. For the past 20 years, I have been a licensed funeral director and serving people in the funeral industry capacity. So the show that we have created is going to be discussing all of those things about my career, funerals, pre-needs, life insurance, morticians, funeral directors, children, all kind of things. Today I have a very, very, very special guest, a person that I have been knowing for 17 going on 18 years. It's a young lady. She's smart, she's talented, and I wanted to have her on this show today to see what her views are and what she thinks about funerals, life, death. I just wanted to find out what's her ideas on the topics that we discuss all the time. So now we are welcoming Miss Treyvon Veal, my 17-year-old daughter, and I have some questions that I want to ask Jandra to kind of get her perspective on some different topics. So my first question, Jandra, is, have you ever been to a funeral before?
Of course.
Okay, and how did you feel about the funeral?
If it was with my family member, of course you're going to feel sad, denial, shock, But like anybody other funeral, like if I went to your job, I just honestly just be chilling. It's not my family, but, you can kind of get the energy off of other people's emotions. Yeah.
So Jandra is the daughter of a funeral director. So she has been to several funerals before. So I can understand her feelings and emotions about certain ones because it's like mom is at work. So it's really not a whole lot of emotions. But I'm wanting to ask you about the most memorable emotional funeral that you ever attended was
my dad.
Your dad's funeral, outright. So you lost your dad in 2017, I believe.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you remember much about that funeral?
I do. The whole time I was sad, so I was not as responsive. Like people just be talking to my ear. Oh, I'm so sorry about your dad. I just really couldn't respond because I was just still in denial that he passed away. And, I thought he was gonna be there all my life, but I had to accept the fact.
Right. Okay. So that's a good answer because the main reason why I'm doing this show today with Jandra as a guest is because I want to bring some awareness to her. As she gets older, more and more is going to come to, just natural responses and natural actions on what to do. My ultimate goal today is to get her to know exactly what I want her to do when I die. That is my ultimate goal for today. Of course, emotions, I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to be able to guide her on her emotions. But I definitely want to guide her on the business side of things, how I want my funeral, life insurance, and how I want them to live their life after I'm gone. So that is my main objective today for Miss Jandra. So my next question for you, Miss Jandra, is, do you know what to do if I die? What would be the first thing you would do if I died tonight? What'd you do?
You know, first call the police, I'm guessing, so they can like get you somewhere and see like what's the reason for. That's probably all I know, and I'm guessing they'll tell me take care of the rest. But you know, I'll call my siblings up, see if they know what to do, or your sisters, my aunties, tell them the news and just ask them what to do.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to instruct you today. While we're filming, I'm going to tell Jandra what to do. And I have pretty much laid out everything I want her to do if I was to die. Now, I'm not going to die today or tomorrow, but I'm just a planner. I like to plan things, and I don't want my baby to be in the blind. You know, people could take you really fast when things happen to you, you know. So the first thing you're going to do is, if I pass away at home, of course, you're going to call the police. And then they probably will bring my body to the coroner's office, or they're going to say, Jandra, you need to find a funeral home that your mom is using. And I have in this book, I'm going to put this book somewhere really safe for you, and all of my important documents here I've gathered. That's going to be your go-to book. You're going to know exactly where it's at. If things change, I'm going to be writing things down in this book as things happen. But yes, the first thing you're going to do if I die at home is call the police. They're going to say, Miss Jandra, you really have to be older than 18, but you can just say, I can handle it from here. My mom already told me what to do. So my legal next of kin is you, Nigel, my 24-year-old son, and Koviana, my 20-year-old daughter. So in this book, it's the funeral home I want you to call. Hey, my mom passed away. I want you guys to come and pick her remains up. They're going to pick me up, right? So when they come and pick me up, they're going to embalm me. I'm going to be at the funeral home. So then your next step is try to get all your siblings together within a matter of a couple of days, and you guys are going to plan my funeral, right? So when you get to the funeral home, they're going to ask you some questions about my life and things to go on my death certificate. And right here, I'm going to include a copy of a death certificate for you. This is my own father's death certificate. So I'm going to leave this in the place where all the important documents are for Jandra to go over and to find out what is going to be the questions. All of these questions you are going to know the answer to. Now, the next thing you're going to do is find out about how you're going to pay for a funeral. So how much you think a funeral is going to cost?
Okay, so a casket, right? That's probably already about, I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong number.
Right. Well, just give me up. Okay, for the funeral, the casket, the burial.
So the whole thing?
The whole thing. Limo, whatever. Everything y'all want. Hearse, all of that stuff. How much you think a whole funeral is going to cost?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, that's all right.
I'll say, I don't know, I think that's a little too low, but like $50,000? No, I think so. Okay. I don't know.
That's high. That's over and above. That's too high.
Okay, so 20.
No, probably about 20 would probably be it. But I'm gonna say anywhere from maybe 10 to 15 is what I am allotting for my funeral. You're not gonna spend no more than $15,000. However, I'm a funeral director, of course, and my total cost is not going to be the same as anybody else's because, you know, I get discounts and perks or whatever from being a mortician. And also in this book is all of the life insurance policies that I have on myself. So we have a Globe Life policy for myself. I have a Northwestern Mutual for myself. And I have a State Farm life insurance for myself. And one that I don't have with me is called a security plan, right? Mm-hmm. So in this book, I have who are the beneficiaries and the amounts that I have on myself. So if I just died at home, that's one thing. These are the amounts. But if I was to have a car accident, I want you to know that most of these policies are going to double in amounts, right? So now these might look like a whole lot of money, but trust me, it goes very fast. So don't be concerned about the dollar amount. I only got life insurance because if something happens to me, I do want my children and my grandchildren to be able to, you know, to better themselves while I'm gone. Because I would do it anyway if I was here. So this money will help them better themselves. So all of this stuff is going to be in a very safe place, and I'm going to let you know what they are. So, another thing that I wanted to make sure and get Jandra's opinion on is, like, since her mom is a funeral director and a mortician, I wanted her to be able to explain some things to her classmates and her peers. If something, if her peers were to experience a loss, a close loss in their family, I wanted her to be able to explain to her friends and peers that, you know, on what to do. So, now let me ask you this. Do you know anything about a life insurance policy? Okay, so before I told you what I told you, who do you think was going to pay for the funeral if I died?
So your closest peers? Or your family?
You, Nigel, and Koviana.
Oh. I was thinking it would be, you know, somebody who, you know, like...
No,
but I'm not 18 yet.
You're not 18, but you're very close to 18.
Right.
So, if something was to happen to me, you guys are responsible for me. My body, my remains. That is why I got life insurance, so you guys won't have to go and borrow money or ask people for money to take care of my final expenses, right? So, not only did I get life insurance for myself, but I got life insurance on you and as well. Because you can die. You can drive in your car to school every day. That's why I be so panicking and so crazy. Jandra, don't go here. Jandra, don't do this. No, you can't go. No, you do know that 17-year-olds die too. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, so if something was to happen to you, I have life insurance on you. That way I can pay for your service as well. Now, tell me this. If you was to pass away, what do you want to happen to your body?
I want to get buried. I want to get embalmed. I want to get buried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to be cremated.
You don't want to be cremated? So where would you want to be buried at?
Like a city or a state?
Maybe my hometown?
Probably like close to my dad.
Okay, you want to be by your dad? Okay, so your dad is in New Orleans at Mount Olivet Cemetery. So, yeah, okay, so I can get you over there by your dad.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. See, now here is the thing. It sounds a little creepy now that we're talking about it, but I want us to have this conversation a time or two, and I want us to live our life as if we never had this conversation. It's just going to be a thought. If this was to happen, you're going to know what to do. But this is not going to be a conversation that we're going to often have. Mm-hmm. You know, so I do want you to understand that, and I just want you to be able to break into action. if something was to happen to me, I don't want you panicking. You know, you may be emotional or whatever, and that's gonna happen. But I want you to be able to take care of business. And I wanted to let you know that on most of the policies that I have for myself, you are not a beneficiary. Only because you're 17. So Koviana and Nigel is the beneficiary of everything right now. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna know to tell them that, because they don't know unless they watch the show. Now they need to watch the show. So after you get 18, then it's going to be the three of you guys. So, but you're going to know what to do because you're in the house with me. And it's at this time that I'm okay with talking about it. So, and now I know what you want to be buried. Do you have a color in mind that you would like for your casket to be?
Casket, probably pink and pink.
You want to do pink?
Pink and gold.
Pink and gold. Okay, all right. You want to look like a beauty queen or a princess, or how do you want to be?
I want to look classy, but like, I don't know. I want to be like I'm at peace. Like,
okay.
I don't know how to explain it, but
maybe not a prom dress,
no.
But maybe like a white pantsuit and a pink casket or something like that.
Maybe so, yeah.
Something like that. Okay, all right there. So you want to be buried close by your dad. No cremation. What kind of service do you want to have? Like a church service or auditorium service? Like
maybe auditorium.
Auditorium, like so for your classmates in school.
Yeah.
And, right. Okay. Good. So, do you have any questions that you want answered, or?
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want your casket color to be?
Well, I have picked out my casket, right? So all of these things are going to be in this book. I have picked it out already, and the funeral home that I chose to go to, they don't know what it is, but you're going to know, and you're going to give them the name of it, and they know where to go get it, and they know how much it is. It's very expensive, and I don't plan on you guys having to pay for it. The funeral home is probably going to pay for it, right? So that's not going to be a big deal. What else you got?
So you want to be buried in your hometown, Mississippi?
In Gloucester, Mississippi, absolutely. I would like to be buried in Gloucester, Mississippi by my grandparents.
Who do you want to carry your casket?
You know, I hadn't did much of the program, so you know you're going to have to get at least 6 pallbearers. And people, during the time of your planning the funeral, once they get out to a lot of people, some are going to ask, do you need anything? What do you need? You're going to say, okay, I need pallbearers. And it's mainly going to be guys, but it could be girls, 2 ladies. It doesn't matter. So, and then I want you to also know when people ask you things like, I'm so sorry, is there anything I can do for you? People are going to always ask you that. You know, can I help you in any kind of way? Do not be afraid to ask what you need, because you're not going to need any money, right? You're going to need help with probably programs, maybe pallbearers, maybe a repast if that's what you guys choose to do. You may need help with that, but I definitely want you to be able to ask for what you need. And I'm just a planner at nature, and I like to write things down. If you find yourself in this situation, I want you to be able to just take this booklet and write down what you need. The main thing, the most important thing that I do want you to know is, do not wait to have my funeral waiting on somebody to get the time. If somebody can't get here till 3 weeks from now, from the time, please don't wait for them. You and your siblings, y'all do what's best for you guys. The date that's best for y'all, I want y'all to be the stars. You know, it's all about you. It's all about my children at that point. It's whatever y'all want to do. You know, so that's the main thing I wanted to accomplish today on the show. And I wanted to find out, you know, some things with Jandra. her views about funerals. So another question: how do you feel about my career path? Are you scared?
I feel like scared of like going with you to work.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm used to it.
Okay.
But I feel like you chose the right path for yourself, because when you work, you look comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like you're just a natural environment, like just to do bias, because somebody got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody, a lot of people think it's weird, creepy.
Right.
But I feel like it fits you.
Right.
Yeah.
Good answer. And it is something, when you grow up in the funeral industry, you really are not allowed a chance to get scared or nervous, because it's normal. And I think it's probably been normal to Jandra, because I've been bringing her around for such a long time. To see a dead human body is just not a creepy thing, because she knows nobody's going to get up and walk out of there. All of those crazy myths that you hear, she knows for a fact that none of that can happen, or it's just not possible. If they're really truly deceased, it's just not possible. So Miss Jandra, I have another question. So tell me your honest, most sincere feelings about life and death. What's your beliefs about life and death?
Well, to me, I feel as if I should pursue in life, because everybody have their different belief about their gods and stuff, and nobody really knows. Mm-hmm. Nobody really knows the true belief, but most are Christians. Most people are Christians. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I should just live up to my goals that I set for myself, mm-hmm. and leave a print on the world, like and to pursue other people, mm-hmm. like what's the word? Right.
So how do you feel about death? Or what's your understanding of death?
I feel like death shouldn't be like a sad ending. Gotcha. I feel like you should celebrate death, because there's no more suffering. Mm-hmm. It's just a celebration of that you lived your life, not a celebration that you're dead now.
Right. That's a very good point, because my whole being and my whole objective in this life is to make people understand that death is going to happen. You're going to pass away. Everybody is going to pass away. We don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. The main objective is to live your life, to the fullest. Whatever you understand that to be, you have to be, to live your life to even be afforded the opportunity to have a good celebration. Most services and funerals are sad, really sadder when we feel like the person's life is cut short, with the traumas and the accidents or whatever. So you are very on point with that, how you feel about life and death. Another question. Would you ever consider being a funeral director, embalmer?
Well, I want to make you happy. It's not like my first option. It's like a second option, because I do find it interesting. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, mm-hmm. I want to pursue
your career in music, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your ultimate career path is music. Mm-hmm. But let me just say this. I want you to fulfill your dreams and goals. I don't want you to be a funeral director, mortician, because that's right. Yeah. But I will tell you, financially, it would give you a great opportunity to make decent income, and then that's always something you can have on the side. As you can see, I don't work a traditional job, a traditional way. I'm kind of what you call like a trade embalmer or a trade funeral director. I pretty much go wherever somebody needs me. So even though you're going to do music, you can still get your funeral director and embalmer's license. And when you finish doing music in the daytime, you can go embalm at night and make good money. So how about that? How's that sound?
That sounds about right.
That sounds good. Yeah. So you think you can do it? You think you can do the whole embalming process? You okay with touching human dead bodies? Okay, all right, good. So now, this question that I'm going to ask you is kind of don't have anything to do with funerals. This is a question I just want to ask you because you're my daughter. How do you feel about success? What makes a person successful in life?
I feel like success is what you set it to. Like, other people may think, like, everybody don't move at the same pace. It's always a time for everybody to succeed. Success is basically finishing the goals, like, that you set for yourself. And, like, if you're okay, like, with where you're at, then I felt like you succeeded.
Gotcha. So there is not a standard gauge for success, right? But I will say, in our own communities or our own, even in your class, you're gonna graduate next year. In the class of 2024, you guys are gonna have your own standard of success. You're gonna gauge it based on who left town, who went off to make a lot of money, who stayed home and still had good jobs. You guys are going to have standards set. So I don't believe that there is a one success fits all everybody, but I do know that you wanna. This is my belief now. I can believe what I want to believe. You gotta kind of have some standards in the community. It could be your church group, your friend group, your high school group, or even your college group of people. You're gonna remain friends with those people for a long time. So y'all gonna have your own standard of success, and you're gonna go on with your life like that. So I think that's a good question. Now, how do you think your friends feel about your mom being a funeral director? Because I hear y'all make a lot of jokes about me. Y'all do?
Well, some, they're not very mature, so they won't, get that, yeah, somebody got to do it. It's for anybody that feels like that's what they're fit for. But, some people actually was interested in it. Like, some of my friends was like, oh, I need to talk to your mama, call her up for me. It sounded very interesting. And I think, yeah, because some of their family, they're jobs where you work at, some of their family work there too. Okay. So some of them been been around.
Right.
Like I have.
Gotcha. Well, I do want you to understand that being in the funeral industry, it's kind of like two parts to it. Yeah, you can be a mortician and you really don't have to, interact with the client's family, the people that come in to make the arrangement and do the funerals. But the reason why I became a funeral director is because of my love for people. I experienced the loss of my mom when I was 10 years old. And the day at that funeral, I felt like everything was so beautiful. My mama was so beautiful. I didn't know I wasn't going to see her again. At 10 years old, I just didn't have an understanding on what happened. But everything that happened that day, it seemed like it happened to me and for me. So I knew that I wanted to make other people feel like that. So that's the reason why I became a funeral director, is to be there and comfort people when they have lost somebody. They having a terrible week, terrible, it's devastating news. I'm a comforter. Oh, I'm so sorry, or I hate that happened to you, and that is so me. I just want to be there and just help them, even though it's not much I can do, but just having a funeral and making arrangements and making their loved ones, look nice. That's the only thing that I can really do. So, Jandra, Do you have any questions or anything you want to ask? You all good? How you feel about the show?
I feel like I learned just from this, one episode or whatever you want to call it. I feel like I learned a lot. I've been filled with a lot of information that I can take on,
Right.
know what to do when things happen so quick, rapidly.
Right.
So yeah, I have no questions.
Because really and truly, you probably may have about a week or two. If I was to die or somebody, really close to us pass away and we have to do this arrangement and plan a funeral, we may have a week or two. So you think that would be stressful trying to get all this stuff together in a week or two, and there is no plans. Nobody have made any plans, so that's why another thing is pre-planning. That's the best way to go, is to pre-plan your service. And my whole objective today was, I knew Jandra and I hadn't talked about this subject ever before, and I wanted to capture her responses on the show. But I know we will talk about it more. And I know she probably going to have some other questions off the camera about life insurances and make sure everything is where it needs to be. And I want to say again, baby, that I'm not going to die. I'm not going to leave. But if I do, I have faith that I'm going to be here a long time. I have faith you're going to be here a long time. That's why I allow you to go as much as you go. And I know you probably don't understand why a lot of times I say, no, you can't go. No, don't ride nobody in your car. All of those things is only because I've witnessed so many teenagers in car accidents. The driving and drinking. The texting and driving. The distractions. It would break my heart if you would pass away, in a car accident or something. I would be torn. But it would be added on stress and problems if somebody else was in the car with you that lost their life. So that's why I always say you to be careful. And, that's very serious. The older you get, I want you to realize that, driving is a privilege. And it is fun to be able to get where you need to go. You don't have to worry about nothing. But it's very serious. It's a very serious responsibility to have. So I do want you to know that, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to have this conversation. And I thank you so much for being on Mama's show. I appreciate you. I love you. And now you know more than your older siblings. Right. You're going to be able to help them out. How you feel about that? No kind of way?
Not really.
So who you think know me the most out of all three of you guys?
Nigel.
You think Nigel know me more? Okay, so that's my 24-year-old son. I think you might be right on that. Because Nigel, even though you kind of reserved, a little bit, we talk, but we don't really talk a lot. Nigel is 24. He always has a lot of questions. So he asks the most questions. And then the older you get, I think you probably going to be asking me more too, and you'll know more. But, yeah, you might be right. He probably does know me more. Because he knows I like flowers. And he going to send his mama some flowers, and she don't do that. So, that's one thing. So, thank you, baby. I really appreciate you. Mama love you, and we're going to talk more. Right? And then we're going to be done with that. We're going to live our life like we do.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Give me a little hug. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Edward J's Mortie Morty Show, where I'm your host, Treyvon Veal. Today on the show, we had my 17-year-old daughter, Treyvon Veal, and we discussed some topics about life, death, what was she to do if I was to die, and we learned the first thing to do is to call the police if the death occurred at home. Call your family, call the rest of the family, let them know what happened. And you're going to have to call the funeral home and have them come and pick up the remains. Or as we discussed today, call the funeral home to come and pick up my remains. So those are the first three things that you to do if somebody passes away. And there are other things to do. We will be talking about them more as the show comes about. I would like for you guys to Send us feedback on any topics that you want to hear about the show. Please engage us. Let us know if you like the show, what guests you want to see. If there's anything you want to know, just please reach out to us and let us know. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and engage with us in the channel. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Edward J's Mortie Morty Show. Thank you and have a great day. Live your life.